I think a lot of us don't struggle because we don't know what to do. We struggle because we know exactly what to do. We just don't do it consistently. And that has really been me more times than I can count. So this video, it isn't about motivation. It's really about how to stay consistent even when you don't feel like it. Even when you don't want to do it, you stay consistent anyway. Consistency, I think it feels hard because you know what to do, but life happens, you're tired, you overthink things, you might go on a trip, you just let things get in the way of what you promised yourself you would do at the time that you were in a focus era. I used to think like consistency was doing everything perfect, working out every day, drinking my water, reading, journaling, just doing everything that I said I would do. And the minute that I fell off, it was like, hey, let's just forget about that. I have really been focusing on my actions and building momentum and not being so extreme. Making a decision that this is part of my schedule and this is what I'm going to do, regardless of how I feel. For example, I joined Pilates back in November, and I've been going to Pilates on a regular basis since I joined. And that's something big for me because I would join and then you don't see me for a long time. But I made a decision like that's the plan. So in the beginning of the week, like this week, I signed up for class Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. In my head, it's like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I've committed to going to Pilates the same way I wake up to go to work Monday through Friday. That's what I'm doing for Pilates. One of the days that I went, it was like 27 degrees out. And if you know, that is cold for Florida. And that is really cold for me. So the fact that I woke up, started my car, and went to Pilates anyway, because I felt like, well, I said Monday and it's Monday, and I'm not going to let the cold weather stop me. At that point, it's part of the routine, and I don't feel like going. I did not want to go, but it's part of what I promised myself for, and it was part of my routine, and I just said, okay, let's go. It's about not going back and forth with yourself. Because the more you go back and forth with yourself, the bigger chances that you're just not going to do it. When you start giving yourself all these excuses of, and they could be real valid excuses. Like you really are tired. You really are busy. But when it's just like, nah, like you need to get on the bike. Last night I was about to go take a shower and I was like, no, get on the bike for 30 minutes and then go take a shower. And I looked at the clock. It was like 8:30. I'm like, that 30 minutes, you can take a shower at 9. It's not that late. Like, already in my head, it's like, oh, I got to wake up early for Pilates. No. Because you can spend 30 minutes scrolling on social media and then showering. You can get on the bike. And I got on the bike. Like, I didn't let myself sit there and think about it too much. But in the same breath, I also think it's really important when it comes to consistency is that you don't let the one slip up just take you off. Like, yeah, I said Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And let's say on Thursday I woke up late. Okay, then get on the bike, then do something. Or tomorrow, still continue. I'm not going to skip Friday just because I didn't go on Thursday. I think, especially with all these like quick before and afters and quick reels of what it looks like when you're on these journeys, the reality is it's not always, rainbows and butterflies. Okay? Sometimes you're just dragging yourself out and you're going anyway. Sometimes you're eating something that you really don't even want to eat, but you eat it anyway because the benefits from it is going to outweigh that temporary feeling of not wanting to eat it. We got to stop with all these extremes. The 75 hard and the 75 soft and the blah, 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 blah. Listen, if you're on 75 hard, 75 soft, no shame. But people go from not working at all, not drinking any water, not reading a book in a whole year, to starting 75 hard and getting to day 3 and quitting. Because all of a sudden now you're going to work out twice, you're going to drink a gallon, you're going to read a book, you're going to every single day. Like, come on, let's start with where you are. That's how you build consistency. If you don't drink any water, start with saying, I'm going to drink 8 ounces today. The next day, maybe 16. Start with where you are. I might have a goal of 60 ounces because I was finishing 20. But someone else might have a goal of a gallon because they drink 80 with no thoughts about it. Like, you have to tailor your goals to where you are, not with what you're seeing other people do. Because what worked for me doesn't necessarily work for you. We live different lifestyles. We like different things. So take what you're hearing and see how that is going to incorporate in your life. You know, you don't work out at all, but now you're going to do one 45-minute workout outside and one 45-minute workout inside for 75 days straight. Maybe. I'm not saying you won't, but usually things like that do not build consistency. If you don't work out at all, but you say, hey, I'm going to commit to 25 minutes a day of moving my body, that sounds a little bit more realistic. You know, do it for 30 days. And when you get there, maybe get on another challenge. But when you build these goals that are so difficult, most likely you're going to do it for 1 or 2 days and you're over it and you're back to doing whatever you were doing before. We don't have to reset every Sunday and start over every Monday. You know, if you don't have time on Sunday one day and it's now Monday, reset on Monday. Do the meal prep Monday. Consistency is not about doing it perfect every single day when you said you were going to do it. The most important part is that when you start keeping these promises to yourself, you start to believe in yourself more. It makes you feel better. And it's going to take you farther along on your journey. When you start keeping these promises to yourself, it makes you trust yourself more. It makes you see yourself as someone who follows through. So when you make these little goals, even if it's just fixing your bed every morning, and you do it, you're known as a person who fixed their bed every morning. You know, you're known as that girl who goes to Pilates, the girl who gets on the bike. That's what you start telling yourself. Stop telling yourself like, oh, I'm lazy. I'm not. I used to say that I can't do no 5 a.m. Like the fact that I've been waking up since November and going to a 6 a.m. Pilates class is amazing, because I'm waking up between 5 and 5:15 every morning. When a few months ago, if this time last year, I would have been like, I don't know how they do that. I can't be in no gym at 6 a.m. But now it's like my body is naturally waking up. I woke up this morning with 4:45, and I was like, oh, we early. Went back to sleep until 5 though. I did. So I hope you get it. There is really just, hey, you know, let's start with where I am and go from there. I'm not saying you can't join any challenges, but maybe join a challenge that makes more sense to you. I remember when everybody was doing that, like 3-3-3 thing, where like they were like on level 3, 30 minutes, speed 3 on a treadmill. Girl, I went for 1 minute and I was done. Because at the end of the day, I haven't been consistently running on a treadmill for a long time, and to just go from not at all to I'm gonna go on whatever it was, like maybe it was 13. It was like a resistance thing, a speed thing in 30 minutes. No, let me work my way up. Let me walk on the treadmill consistently for 2 weeks at speed, blah, blah, blah. And when I get there, move it up. That's something I can start building on versus going from 0 to 100. 0 to 100 is never going to build consistency. Consistency also comes from you doing things that you enjoy. I truly do enjoy Pilates. I do complain most of the class. I'm making a lot of sounds. But at the end of the day, I love what it's doing for me. I feel stronger when I'm doing it. So I feel like that's what gets me going back too. I enjoy the instructors. I enjoy the vibe of the class, the neon purple lights. Like I enjoy it. So it's going to be easier for me to stay consistent doing that because I enjoy it. I used to really enjoy cycling, and I'm trying to get back to that place. So I'm trying to remind myself, like, you know, get a good class with the songs you like, turn the lights down, and make this a vibe. Because the more it becomes a vibe, the more I want to ride the bike. Because there was one point when I was on my journey where I would go to the gym an hour early to get a bike because I just enjoyed cycling so much. So finding things that you actually enjoy, you're going to be more consistent. And then I also think focusing on like 3 things. When you have like 10 different items or tasks that you want to finish or get done in the day, and it's all in your mind, it's going to make it a little harder. So focus like on 3 things. What are 3 things that you must get done today? You know, and get down to having details on when you plan to get it done and how you plan to get it done. So if it is for me, like today, I am going to drink 40 ounces of water. I'm going to fill up my 20-ounce water before work, and then I'm going to fill out another 20-ounce when I get off. I'm going to check in every so often with y'all so that I can have some accountability because I struggle with my water. 2, I don't know the other 2. I got to think about that. But I think the important thing is when I wake up in the morning, and I don't do it every day, but I'm telling y'all because I'm on this journey too, is like really sitting down and saying, okay, what are the 3 things that I want to get done today? And putting that on paper and then checking it off. And yeah, there might be other things that I want to get done, but I think what happens sometimes is that when you have so many things at once, you get in like a state where you just don't do anything. And that's not consistent. So consistency in writing out your goals, keeping it simple, something you can measure. And then when you get to start seeing yourself checking these things off, you get to know yourself again as someone who sets a task and completes it. And the more you recognize that you are that type of person, the more things that you're going to start completing. Because everything is mindset. Everything is mindset. Any goal you have in life, whether it is weight loss, financial, relationships, it's the small things that you do on a daily basis that's going to make the biggest change. It's not these big gestures. What are you doing every day to glow up or to do better in the specific thing that you're trying to be consistent in? And if you're not doing at least 2-3 things a day towards that, then no, you're not going to be consistent. It has to be on your mind. Like for me, I'm not consistent with my water if I ain't thinking about it. If I just let it be, I will not drink anything all day unless, we go out for drinks or something. But when it's in the forefront, when it's like, yo, this is my goal, I have a better chance that I'm going to drink more. And I might not always get it right, but I'm always going to keep trying. My biggest thing that I learned in 2025 was like enough planning, enough researching. Let's just put action, because consistency comes from action. So I'm challenging myself. I saw a girl talking about how she's going to post 100 videos on YouTube, and to make it easier on yourself and to take out the distractions, talk to the camera, think of a topic. It's going to help someone. What I'm doing right here. And when you start taking out all those excuses, consistency will come. So you guys are going to start seeing me more because I'm on this challenge. This is video 2 of my 100 video challenge. I'm challenging myself to really just talk to y'all, get to know y'all more, and talk about the things that are the hardest and the best things while being on this journey. Because I'm on a full glow up journey. Consistency in my workouts, in what I'm eating, in how I'm saving my money, and how I'm paying off all this credit card debt, in how I am progressing career-wise. Like, the glow up is not just about getting on a scale and what that number says. The glow up is mentally, spiritually, physically, everything, financially, okay? And I'm taking y'all along with me, and I want to share my gems. Some of them might sound like, you heard that before, but sometimes we just need a reminder. I love reading different personal development books, and I always say these books, sometimes at the time that I read it, it's just what I needed. Even though I might have known it before, sometimes you need to hear it from someone else. Sometimes you need that little push to be like, okay, girl, like you are built for greatness. There's someone out there who is less talented than you, who will be in a better position because they put in action. They were consistent. And they focus on the simple tasks that they were doing on a daily basis. So if you like videos like this, if you have any questions, drop it in the comment. Let me know. I appreciate you guys for joining me on this glow up journey, and just all the kind comments you put in. It really pushes me to keep on going and keep on showing up. And that means more than you know. So if you haven't already, click on that subscribe button so that you'll know when I put out my new video. But I am on this 100-day challenge, so you might see me every day. Y'all know I love to start yapping, so let me bring this all together. My first point, feelings change daily. When people ask me, how do I stay consistent? I don't think it's because I'm more motivated than anybody else. I think it's honestly the opposite. Most days, I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like going to Pilates. I don't feel like waking up. I don't feel like cooking, especially cooking. I don't feel like doing a lot of the things that I said I was going to do. I just stopped waiting to feel like it. You hear that? I just stopped waiting to feel like it. I realized that feelings change. And this is something that I am learning more and more each week that passes by. Your feelings are going to change every day, maybe every hour. But the promises that you make to yourself shouldn't. Some days you feel great. You feel energized. Other days you feel tired. You're distracted. You're sad. You're just over it, and just in general. And that's normal. But I realized that if I only showed up on the days that I felt good, I wouldn't be showing up very often. And that was just the truth. I try not to make decisions based on how I'm feeling at the moment. Instead, I base them on what I tell myself that I want long term. Because how I feel in that specific moment usually is total opposite of the things that I've told myself that I want long term. Second thing is my second point, consistency is quiet. Consistency is not excited. Most of the time it's boring. It's the things that you're doing on a regular basis, drinking your water, going for a walk, the things that you do that really doesn't matter to anybody else but you. You're making these small decisions every day that most likely no one really sees but you. I think that's why people quit. It doesn't feel like any progress because some of the changes are so small, it takes you a while to see anything. But when I look back at the past few months, that's where I'm able to see what changes has happened. For example, in December, I went to Honduras and we went whitewater rafting, like in the river, in the jungle, in Honduras. And after we did it, it was a lot of fun. It was scary. But I just said, oh my God, thank you for Pilates, because the arm strength, the body strength that I needed to be in the raft and going up and down and doing all that, I don't know if I could have done that in 2023. And especially in 2023, but even in the last like 4 or 5 months, like my strength, those is different. I was really thanking Pilates because I feel like all that arm workouts that I've been doing in class, them leg workouts, they were showing. They were showing that day. So it might have took a few weeks to even notice it, but really I do think that's where the strength came from. My third point, and don't fight me on this, you don't always have to have a plan. Sometimes we spend so much time researching, looking up things, making a plan that we don't get anywhere. I will be planned out, researched out. Girl, you know enough. You know what to do. Just pick 1 or 2 things and start doing it. You don't need to make this big old lavish plan. I said one time I was going to do that 75 hard. I went to the dollar store. I bought all the little like Post-it notes and I put it on the wall. I wrote all the 75 numbers on it. I don't think I made it to day 3. I really don't. I made a whole video and got a lot of views on it. And I'm like, not doing this no more. Okay. Oh, God. My fourth point, and most important, I'm not going to say most important, but it's important, is action builds momentum. Okay. Start. My word for 2026 is action. You know, to just start producing. And this is in a lot of things in life. Just start putting money towards one of my cards. Smallest card, do the snowball effect. It doesn't matter because one of my cards has a really high balance. And when you look at that, it could be intimidating. But we just go focus on this little $500 one, this little $1,000 one, and $10 here, $15 here. And when you do that, eventually we'll get to the higher one. But in everything in my life, like, it's not just the scale. It's financial, like I said. It is emotional. It's in a lot of ways. Like, girl, just do it. Even content creation. Start posting. Join this 100 video challenge and get these videos out. Talk to your audience. Get comfortable in the camera. And don't worry about all the craziness. Just move. Start moving. Consistency is all about trusting yourself again. And it can be hard when you have broke so many promises to yourself. Think about, like, if you're in a relationship or if you have a friend and they break a promise to you. It takes you some time to get over it, if you do ever get over it, to move on. You know, you might move on, but you never forget, and it's taking you time to trust that other person. Well, when you keep making these promises and you do not succeed, you start to trust yourself less, even if you don't notice. So putting in that action and starting to trust yourself again is going to be how you stay consistent. So if you're in a season where you're feeling behind or you're feeling inconsistent, maybe you don't need a whole new plan. Girl, it's okay. This is a life journey, okay? Never ending, whatever it might be. So give yourself grace. Think of 1 or 2 things that you'll commit to today and do it. And then tomorrow, do it again. And you can start adding things on top later on. But just give yourself grace. Let me know in the comments what's one thing that you're working on staying consistent with, writing it down, making it public. Let's hold ourselves accountable. And if you like these real life conversations that I'm having with you, be sure you subscribe, like this video, comment so I know I'm not talking to myself. And let's just keep glowing up for the rest of 2026. And I know it's random, but I wanted to show you guys my mystery box from FBF Body came in. Let me show you. I'm so excited. I can't wait to open them. I'll do a separate like unboxing If you've never heard of FBF, they used to be called FUCK, being fat, but they changed to FBF. And they have this mystery box where you can like purchase the box. You don't know what you're getting. You just give them your size and they send you over some stuff. So this is what I got. Actually, I'll save it for my next video and I will put it in the comments once I record. I'll do an unboxing. But if you ever heard of FBF, let me know. She's actually doing her rally to get like 4,700 orders before the end of this month. So if you're looking for some good quality workout clothes, and this video is not sponsored, I love them. I have tights that I've had since 2019 and they still fit. They still put together, like good quality.